good, buddy? That's not good. Gonna go down this rock haulage tunnel. Currently it's in coal. I just can't believe they put that in the coal. They made the right call because it's still hanging out all these years later. See the track ties that are submerged. Overhead trolley wire mounts. Anthracite mines are so wet and sloppy. They really are. Must have been a switch here because these ties swing out. And right here I'm at a junction where the tracks split off from each other. Always nice when you come out of the water. Wow, that wood looks new. It's cool how you can see where the rails were. Everything's gone now, they lifted it. I've never noticed this. So there was a copper overhead trolley wire that was electrified and fed power to the electric mine motor itself. I'm gonna follow this. There's like a light green copper color running where that wire would have been. Look at how that goes down. I thought it was like a copper vein or something in the rock here, but it's not. It has something to do with that. Now they did spark like crazy when they were in operation. The overhead trolley wires where it was making connection with the electric mine locomotive itself. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. Interesting. Yeah, weird. So now the stable rock tunnel is hitting some shale. And shale is very unstable. You can see how it's like layering and delaminating and coming down. Pretty stable in here still, but not as good as like conglomerate rock or other types of solid rock. Very interesting that you can still see plain as day where the rail used to be. Just continuing down the rock tunnel. So to the right, it branches off. And then it continues straight. We'll go to the right real quick. These rails are very photogenic. Timbers have seen better days. Carry my flame safety lamp on me at all times because there's some black damp back in this section. Here's an old air ventilation door, the kind that a little boy would sit next to and open and close. And he was given a signal. So the electric mine motors and or mules back in the day wouldn't come crashing through it and get injured. Ooh, that's a nasty collapse. So you have your gob wall there, working up there, and it's just perched from left till right. And that's the only reason it hasn't come completely down. So you would never want to crawl under that. Nope. Look at that collapse. Top. Pretty standard, actually a pretty small one, but that will smoke you. It's one big slab of roof. Wow. So that collapse is right behind me. Gonna head back out to the rock tunnel. You can see rail here on the right, stepping on it, rail here on the left, and then on the outside part of the track, it almost looks like rail. It's not, it's air compressor pipe. And it held compressed air for the miners' drills. Backside of an anthracite coal car. Look at that mold on that mine timber. I would say that this coal mine timber may be diseased. Like, wow. The mold spores fly in from the outside, and obviously wood being wood, it will grow mold. I'm well over 1/4 of a mile in this mine. Maybe 1/3 of a mile. I can see the outside, but it's not showing up on my camera. Unbelievable. That's really cool. So the coal started doing some interesting stuff, like running out, running up the mountain, pinching out, whatever. And they were worried about this occurring, this collapse you're seeing. So they really timbered it up well, and sure enough, this massive roof collapse did occur. It's not that bad though. I think that coal just goes up the mountain and stops. That's where the coal vein runs out. Yeah, look at that. Rock tunnel continues. Feel an overhead draft, so there must be workings up there. Yeah, they worked it to the left. That's cool. Coal's in the roof. How shiny it is. I don't know if it's an anticline or if it just went at a steep pitch, but it got steep all of a sudden. They were worried about that because the surrounding rock strata becomes unstable around the coal. And by unstable, I mean, look at these rocks. And there's a bat. Whoa, I haven't seen any of those really in the mine since White Nose. Whoa. We're gonna let him sleep. That's a bat. Yeah, bats are pretty intelligent too, I've read. They're mammals. Birds are not. They breastfeed their pups. They call them pups, little baby bats. So it's good to see some are returning since White Nose. This is amazing because this is a whole different vein of coal that comes from underneath. We just came from that coal vein that goes up, and this one comes from underneath and also goes up. So you have these really small, low vein workings that some poor unfortunate souls had to go up and work in. I don't know if that's 2 feet. This is all in the rock tunnel though. Very interesting. Very, very low in this one spot. Less than 5 feet. Now we're back in the solid rock, and you can see the difference. That is just solid still all these years later. Wow. Some sort of wooden contraption that has just completely rotted away. I'm in the very back of the mine now. Goes to like a T. Goes up here, goes left, goes right, dead ahead. It looks like it continues, but it just stops. You can see this vein of coal. This is yet another vein of coal. I think I walked through 4 different veins. I'm not sure. Wasn't really paying attention. At least 4. Here's a working that they sealed off. I just love these workings. That's bowing. I love this gangway because the workings are unrobbed off to the side of it, and it's completely structurally intact. If the rail was here, it would look like any mine that was open today, most likely. Look at that piece of wood that's acting as a timber. Big board. It's bowing outward. It's taking weight. That's neat. They were gonna build a air brattice wall with those cinder blocks, and then they just stopped. The mine probably just closed. Interesting. Look at that narrow gauge rail spike. It's all bent. Ooh. What a climb that would be. So they were starting to build another air brattice wall up there. It's open at the top. It's kind of like stepped the way they drove into that rock. Look at this little manway ladder. It's seen better days. That's low. Low, low, low. How do you like to have to climb that thing just to get to your designated working area? Climb up and over and up, and who knows where. Up that mountain you gotta go. There's the coal vein. What a pristine gangway. Wow, you can see the two sets of mine tracks, one to the right, one to the left. They pulled the ties up even. The wooden ties are gone. Pristine. Look at this geologic formation in the roof. That's something. Mother Nature is amazing. Textbook example of room and pillar anthracite coal mining. They mine there, left coal there, that's the pillar. Mine coal up there, that's where the voidage is. Left coal up there, that's the pillar, that's what's actually holding the entire mine roof section up. Mine coal there, left coal there, mine coal there, left coal there. Textbook. The coal pitches down. And these poor guys had to work that vein. It goes way down. Oh my, here's my flashlight for scale. It's a small flashlight. Hands down the most preserved gangway I've ever seen in any anthracite coal mine. With the exception of the rails being gone, this looks like they just left yesterday. They would always pull those coal supports when they were at the end of the mine and they knew it was going to close. They would rob the pillars, just pull them out, and then this whole gangway would just feel it collapse. But they never had that opportunity. There's a lot of good coal left down here. Just the pillars alone, there's a ton of coal, no pun intended. But they didn't develop this part of the mine, and they advanced the tracks right up to it. So this is most likely right where the industry stopped when the Knox coal mine disaster occurred. Now, they probably mined here a short while after, but I can guarantee like 1960, 1961, this was it. This was the end of the industry. So this is where this mine essentially died, right at this spot. Yeah, that's exactly what happened because they were advancing it here and stopped. And then look, you have your intact pillar. They didn't chase that vein up that mountain. Everywhere else in this mine, they were chasing that vein of coal up the mountain, no matter what vein of coal it was. And this one is pretty good. So they just didn't go any further because the mine simply closed. What an intact gangway. So I'm standing right where the coal seam once was. Look at how small this little side working is. Just because of that. Industry completely collapsed. Beautiful gangway. Look at this acid mine drainage. I just have to pay respect for the end of this mine. That's it. Industry collapsed. Gig was up. They went home and never came back. What a gangway, though. Look at that beautiful coal vein. Nature's work of art, and also God's creator. Magnificent. Yeah, look, they're gloves. A pair there, a pair there, another pair there. And that's right where the end of the mine is. They just put their gloves down and walked away. They were worried about this crack, though. They were monitoring it by putting that in to see if it was going to loosen up. If it was loosening up, that meant that the crack was going to go. No, still tight. Even though it's all rusted and everything, still tight. Almost right at the floor of the mine, this iron formation fell out. Cool. And that's what I mean about how they chase the coal up the mountain. There's a big mountain above us. And they went all the way up there. Right up the mountain. They were going to extend this rock tunnel even further, I assume to get at another vein of coal. I haven't looked at the maps though, so I don't know how accurate I am, but I would assume so. You can see where the rail was. They lifted it, they scrapped it, but the rock tunnel just stops. So they didn't develop it any further. There's those overhead workings again. Ooh, that's steep. So I went to the left portion of that T intersection at the end of the rock tunnel. And up here, I believe there was a hoist. Go up to that next, but this was an internal slope. And how I know that, because it slopes down, they built this gob wall, or whatever it is right there, but that's a really old school slope. And again, it's flooded, it hits the natural aquifer level now. Look at that. Old school slope. This is intriguing. You can see the remnants of an old fire extinguisher right there on the right hand side. But I think this is where mine hoist would have been. And there's all these welding rods. I assume those are welding rods. Or brass, maybe brazing rods, I don't know. And they took the hoist. They took the hoist out of the mine. Wow. So they really wanted that hoist. No hoist. Old mine inspector dates. So we're at the top of the internal slope. There's an old school fire extinguisher, like I said. And this had to have been a hoist. The operator would have sat right about here. Hoisted coal cars up and down. More dates. They almost kind of look like calculations too or something, I don't know. All types of etchings. Elaborate. Some old school knee pads. They're antiques. Well, that's gonna do it for me on this trip. And I believe this was Capitol Oil. There's the Capitol building. Nice graphics. There's the outside. You can see the sunlight